You know, I mean, this is really the elephant in the room. And it's basically, it was started with the British many years ago, from the 1920s, by a man called Philby in his relationship with King Abdulaziz of Saudi Arabia at that time. And he urged him to become the controller of the Middle East and to use Wahhabism as its tool. For all these decades since, we have been using Wahhabism in its radicalized form in order to pursue Western interests against the Baathists, against the Nasrists, against the Soviet Union influence in the Middle East, and against Iran and Syria since. So we've had this deep ambivalence in Western policy where we're both in bed with terrorists and fighting them at the same time in many cases. We don't say that very often so publicly, but this has created huge tensions inside of Western policy for the Middle East because this tension doesn't go well. The contradiction of our policies of both fighting this and being at the same time willing and wanting to use it. And I think the only thing that might make this change is really if America is absolutely serious of actually purging this out of the government systems, out of the intelligence systems, and saying, no, we are not ambiguously trying to use this system. We are going to eradicate the system. Trump has said these things, but whether it will happen in practice, it means a huge cultural change for many of the mainstream intelligence services, because for years they've both been receiving money from Saudi Arabia and also being involved in operations that are in the interests of certain states, this state or the other, and at the same time, which is always a corrupting influence, is taking money from them, because that money is off balance sheet money. You don't have to go to Congress. You don't go to Parliament, because this is money that quietly gets passed to you by Gulf states, and you use it for other operations that you wouldn't like to have to own up to Congress or to Parliament. If you can clear that, if you like, corruption and ambiguity out of Western policy, I believe that in itself would make a dramatic and actually decisive change in the war of terror. Whether it will happen, we have to just wait and see.